What's going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again today, people. Today we're here for Avataro Sentai Donbrothers episode 47. And in this episode, it's basically just a big company meeting, just a big council meeting and stuff like that. And there's really barely any actual action in this episode. Most of the action we see comes from the other three Sarah brand who are out there causing all kinds of chaos. But in this episode, we do get a bunch of lore bits and a bunch of answered questions in this episode as well, with some wackiness thrown in there as well, because you know it's gonna be wacky because it's Donbrothers. But in this episode, the Sarah brand, the Sarah brand we like, our main three Sarah brand are basically getting together with the Donbrothers to basically initiate them into the team, and they're basically negotiating certain things for them to actually be part of the team. We see that even Sonoi thanks them for actually considering them being a part of the team. And throughout the episode, we get a bunch of answered questions. So essentially, how did Sonoi get into the bestial forest? Why Jiru wasn't there in this episode as well, and also how Sononi was able to come back to life. Even we see that Kijino is given they give him the hard truth that Miho is a bestial, and he just couldn't accept that. But even Taro tells him that she's a bestial, and she was a bestial, and he doesn't believe him, even though he knows that Taro cannot lie. So he does have to inevitably accept the fact that his wife, he married a bestial essentially, and he is basically down and out the entire episode. He's angry and emotional throughout the entire episode. But even throughout the episode, we did see that Jin, he also made an appearance in this episode as well, talking about what he thinks that the Donbrothers and the Sarah brand should do with each other. He does basically announce that the Donbrothers team was created from the story of Momotaro, and he brings forth the fact that Haruka is an Oni, because her Zord is an Oni in this series, and it basically, that Momotaro fought Oni. So essentially, he believes that there is no good nor evil. You're all just two teams. You're all just two teams designed to do certain things. So you have to. So you coming together essentially would not really be that much of a big deal essentially. But when Jin does end up seeing when he does see Kaito, Black Kaito, he's like, oh, true hero. He calls him true hero, and that's what everybody is. Everybody in the room is like very, very surprised on what they hear Jin say. We saw that early in the episode that Sonoi did ask Black Kaito, who exactly are you? And he's just like, I'm just somebody special. Like, I just feel like we at this point now we should start to know more about. Well, we know a lot about Kaito. He was the whole main ranger in Zenkaiger, but at the same time, we don't know why he's here, how he's here, why his personality's changed, how he got this cafe. Like, there's a bunch of questions around Black Kaito that we still have not answered yet, but we still got some more episodes come out, man. So hopefully we'll start to slowly get those answers on why he's actually here. But he does shed some light on how Sononi was able to come back to life. We have a flashback of back when Sononi basically died in the snow, and that's when Kaito came up to Tsubasa and tells him that, hey, you have a bunch of points. Even though Tsubasa didn't know anything about the point system that they go by in Donbrothers. He didn't know nothing about that, but he had a crap ton of points. Like, he had a lot of points, so he used a lot of his points to basically bring Sononi back to life. And he basically tells that to Sononi, which causing her to get love stricken for that. And then we see that Tsubasa just kind of basically just gives her the cold shoulder, and that's when Sononi feels rejection for the first time. We see that we're seeing how the Sarah brand are basically, they've become more human and more emotional and her feeling, her feeling rejection for the first time really did something to her. Like it really it really put her in a bind. So it was actually pretty freaking funny. It was actually pretty freaking funny though. But we did see that Sonoza and Blue, they're not really all getting along either, because Blue is like, yeah, you guys were just gonna be like a reserve team, and we'll just be the main team or whatever. And the other three really don't agree with that, because he's like, hey, and like Sonos was like, hey, we're just as good as fighters as you are. We're better fighters than you are. What are you talking about? And Blue is like, nah, I don't think you are. It's like, first of all, I don't really trust you guys. Like, you can at any point you could betray us. And that's like, he's really really just pissing off Sonoza, and he wants to fight him. He says, I want to fight you then, if that's really the case. Then so we did see this one girl come into the cafe, and her boyfriend comes in behind her, and her boyfriend he starts looking at Sononi, and he gets kind of love stricken by her, and then he ends up having like all these thoughts about her, and then his girlfriend ends up reading his thoughts, and he's like, wait, hey, wait, you're a telepath? And she runs out of the cafe, and he ends up running after her. So throughout that, we did see that while Jin's in the room, Jin does end up leaving, because he still has to leave. I didn't even know he was able to just leave his cell or whatever like that. Sometimes he does say that I do like to enjoy the outdoors every now and then, but he does end up leaving. And when he leaves, we did see he said absolutely nothing to Tato. Like, him and Tato don't even make eye contact while he's like sitting there. But we see that Tato does fix him, does actually give him coffee and stuff like that, and knows how many sugars and stuff that he likes. So it makes sense that he does know that, because like, he did raise Tato. So it's only natural that you would know how your parents or whoever you were raised by. It's obvious that you would know how they like their food or how they like their drinks and stuff like that, because if they ask you to make it for them, then you bring it to them, then you actually know how to make it and how they like it. So that makes sense in that aspect. So it was kind of weird seeing that they didn't make any type of gestures or anything towards each other. He did, like, Jin did kind of make the hand gestures to Tato, telling him that, hey man, good job on this freaking coffee, but he didn't say anything, so he just got the okay. So but we did see, while everybody's at the cafe basically negotiating things, we see that the other three Sarah Brand are out there just causing chaos and kidnapping people and stuff like that. We see that Sonoshi is like sanitizing people and capturing them. We see that Sonogo, she's going off and asking random guys in front of their girlfriends, like asking random guys like, who's the most beautiful woman in the world? You answer too slow, you get sent to jail. You answer too fast, you get sent to horny jail. One dude said, I don't know, he couldn't answer fast enough, and she just throws him through the door because he answered too slow. Then the other guy just says in front of his girlfriend, he said, oh, she's like, who's the most beautiful woman in the world? And he's like, you, right? And she was like, don't state the obvious, and she throws him. So like, what the heck is going on? So what the heck is going on? So they're basically doing all this stuff to try and lure out the Don brothers, to basically lure out the Don brothers and the Sarah Brand to basically fight them. But none of this is really, really working because everybody's too busy at the cafe arguing with each other, essentially. Even though they even come out and talk about how Kijino has become a Hitotsuki 3 freaking times. But he's like, I don't care. I'll become a Hitotsuki 4 or 5 more times if it's for Miho. It's like, yeah, he's basically down and out the whole episode and pissed off the entire episode. But then the couple that ran out earlier, both of them ended up turning. The girl ends up turning into Hitotsuki. I think she turns into the change man Hitotsuki, and the other guy also transforms into a Hitotsuki, and they're kind of like rampaging and running and stuff like that. But we did see that the other 3 Sarah Brand did, coming to the cafe and going, hey, why y'all they come out to fight us? Y'all they showed up to fight. and they basically just told them that, hey, we're having a discussion to see if we should join forces with them or not. And we had the whole like vote system thing going on where 4 of them were good with them joining and the other 4 weren't good with them joining. So essentially it was 4-4, so they couldn't really make a decision at that. So the other 3 Sarah brand kind of broke it and basically said that, yeah, the Sarah brand should join the Dawn Brothers, and they ended up, that's when we get the 2 Hitotsuki in the Parkway, fighting each other and absorbing people, just causing chaos, summoning the Dawn Brothers there to go off. And we see that they try to fight these 2 Hitotsuki, but Kijino, being super freaking reckless, he ends up getting absorbed by the girl Hitotsuki, and Taro basically goes in and he ends up getting absorbed by the boy Hitotsuki, while also Sonoi and his crew are fighting Sanoshi and his crew in the background. And then we see that Taro ends up getting absorbed, captured by one of the Hitotsuki, and that's basically what the episode ends off right there. But man, this was a lot in this episode. We got a lot of things answered and a lot of things clarified. And now it's painfully obvious that Sonoi has the hots for Tsubasa. But also we see that Kaito did mention to Tsubasa that, yeah, you used all these points, but it will cause nothing but misfortune for you. We saw this earlier in the series with Haruka and Blue, and them using a lot of their points to do certain things, and they started having like a big stream of bad luck, or bad things started happening to them. So, not to me being absent in this episode might play a part in the misfortune that Tsubasa will probably have to go through later. But Jiru is back in his main village. Still dealing with the whole revelation of all and the truth about everything in his freaking life, essentially. And the reason why Jin is able to basically kind of leave his cell like that, because the whole bestial thing has kind of been taken care of. So I guess he's sort of more free because the whole bestial thing is actually taken care of. And we actually see how Sonoi got into the bestial forest, where he went to Jin, and Jin was able to press this button that would let Sonoi into the bestial forest. So a lot of questions answered, a lot of things taken care of. So now in the next episode, we're going to see Jiru basically get stronger. We see him, I think he's like absorbing or accepting his other self. So most likely Jiru's probably gonna get a lot stronger and probably become a complete person. But with that being said, though, guys, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of Avataro Sentai Donbrothers episode 47. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure to take care of yourself and each other, and remember, stay henshined.